That's some of the ribs from our piggy. Cooking away, making all the crackling noises. Yummy, yummy. All right, there it all is. It's gonna go in jars. This is how it started off, because this is my other crock pot. So that's all of the fat down there staying warm so it doesn't congeal. And then we'll shred this one too and get this into jars. Let's find out how many jars we have from 2 crock pots. Okay, so there we go. We got these done. That's all fat and gristle, which will be broken down and canned later as lard. And this was just 1 crock pot. I still have my other crock pot to go. So there you go. Okay, so there we go. Gotta wipe the rims, put the lids on, and then into the canner they go. And I'll do the next batch out of the other crock pot, and then get some more, clean those out, get some more piggy into the crock pots, and cook them down for the rest of the day, and then do another batch tonight. Okay, canner is going, and I only have 2 jars that didn't make it in because it doesn't fit. And we will get this whistling, and when this is whistling, then we'll start the timer. Well, we've got to put the weight on, and then we'll start the timer. But I am loving my new gas stove. I think this should go faster. Please ignore the mess of the canner. I pulled it out of storage, cleaned the inside, but I haven't wiped down the outside. But it works either way. All the valves are working. All the valves are, you know, they're gonna go. This one, when it finally does start to pressurize, it's got a locking mechanism right there that will pop down, and I'll show you that when it's done. And when it's whistling, I'll show you what it does. Okay, and now we are steaming, and we're almost, nope, we're locked. Look at that. See how the part inside there, that is locked. So now we're gonna steam. We're gonna steam for 10 minutes. And then we'll put on the pressure. Now I pressure can here at 10 pounds. When I lived in my old house, I had to pressure can at 15 pounds because I lived up on the, off of the valley. But I live in a valley now, so I get 10 pounds of pressure. And then we'll pressure can for 10 pounds. And pork goes for 75 minutes. So it's got a can for 75 minutes at 10 pounds of pressure, not higher. Okay, and now the gauge is on, and we'll just wait for that to start jiggling, and when that starts to show the pressure is up to 10, then we will set the fire underneath to settle, and start the timer. And then we got these canned. And we are up to jiggling. So now this does not jiggle all the time. My Miro is only to jiggle every so often. If it starts to jiggle all the time, I need to actually lower the temperature because then it's getting too hot. But it jiggles ever so often. There she goes. And yeah, as long as she keeps on jiggling every so often like that, then we are up to pressure and we have no problems. Now, if that gets clogged and the jiggler goes up into my ceiling, which actually has happened, then we turn her off, and unfortunately we have to fix everything and start all over. Now, I do have that red button back there too. That will also pop if there's too much pressure inside there. But as long as we keep it like how it is, jiggling every so often and nothing exploding, then we're good. And we did lower the temperature a bit. so it's actually a smaller flame. She's now on about medium. So I gotta go let the dogs in. They want in out of the rain. It's a great day to can. It's all rainy and cold. Okay, timer's done, so turn that off. All right, now we're just gonna let this sit. And what I usually do is I let it sit. You don't touch the weights. You don't touch anything. We're gonna let this sit. Let this completely come to a standstill. And as soon as this lock here pops back up, then we're good to start opening up the lid. So for right now, we're just gonna let it sit. Okay, and now it should be cool. So see, the lock is now undone. So now we can, now this right here is hot. So I'm not gonna just touch it. I've got to put on a glove. So hold on. Okay. Okay, got my glove. You don't want to touch that with your bare hands. That is a hot metal piece right now. Okay, so let's see if I can slide. Come on, slide. With one hand, this is kind of hard. All right, so we're gonna slide it. Yep. Hold on. Hold on. And I'm gonna actually have to turn this off because I can't just do this with one hand. And some contents may have shifted in our canning process, but I don't see any breakage. So we will let these cool for a few minutes inside the canner, like this, and then I will bring them out and put them on the towel. Okay, and let's see if I can turn on the light. There we go. All right, if you see, they are still bubbling, and they will for a while now. Back there, it's bubbling pretty good. So yep, they're still in the jars cooking. Bubbling up in there. And I did not add any extra liquid to these jars. That's all from the pork itself. So these are pulled pork. All right, another batch going into the canner. And then tonight I have 2 more crock pots to do. And I think these are all pretty much sealed though, so I don't think we're going to hear any pings. But these will sit until tomorrow, and then they will, I'll take the rings off. The rings are right here, the metal part. Take off that part and check the seals. And once they are all sealed, then they will go down into our basement, where they will stay dark and cool and last for a good long time. Yeah. I hope they last for a good long time. But yeah, I've got a lot of pork to do since we butchered 2 pigs. Okay, so this is the second batch, and because I didn't have enough jars filled with the second batch, I wanted to show you guys something. Do not ever run a pressure canner with an empty spot. The whole reason is because, as you saw from the previous video, the previous batch, some shifting does occur. If it occurs and there's no jar there to not allow it to move, you will have jar breakage. They will crash into each other, they will break. So what I did was I just filled one of my quart jars up with water and put a lid on it to keep the water inside. Now these are one of my toddler lids, so excuse the child. So yeah, just remember that you have to have your canner completely filled. Don't ever run it without it being filled. You don't want to break your jars. That would be bad. And this is what it looks like before it gets canned, before it gets broken down even. This is raw pork with the fat still on, because we did not care. We just cut it off of the bone. And it won't matter because I'm going to render the fat after we're done anyway. All of this is going to get canned. First it's got to be cooked down. And my crock pot is set for 10 hours. So in 10 hours, we will put this in jars and put them in the canner.